I said this in a post as well. I said it too when we were watching the game. The last time the Florida Gators won in basketball, they followed right up and won in football that following year.
You probably said that within 30 seconds of the final whistle.
Well, it was on my mind.
You were sitting on that one.
I was sitting on that one.
Like,
Pause. But yeah, I was definitely sitting on that one. I think we're a year away, but I give us a shot. I give us a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah,
but I do think we're a year away from.
I was going through the schedule though. Like it's
another tough schedule.
Schedule.
It's another brutal schedule.
But
not as brutal as last year, but it's still brutal.
But we also kind of know that you can be a 2-loss team and still get there in this format.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be perfect. You got to be good at the right time.
Good at the right time,
which is what Ohio State was
in the SEC mix.
Yeah.
The Gators, man, first and only school to win 3 national championships in football and basketball, as they just won the basketball, NCAA championship there for the 1,005th time. I'll take my credit in saying I looked at it at the beginning of the year and I said, hey, Pink, this is the best team in college basketball, and it panned out. They held up their end of the bargain, and they won it, man.
Yeah.
Now, we don't really have to go over the game because it's a little old here, but I will ask you this. Now that they have 3 in football, they have 3 in basketball, do you look at the Gators as any other type of way than just a football school? Or do you still look at them as a football school, or can they be a blue blood basketball school now?
That's an interesting question, and it's a question that we dealt with last year with regard to UConn, because they'd actually accumulated, I think, 6 titles at this point. And that blue blood thing, it almost feels like old white money. And it's like it's only bestowed to like these other teams. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like you're ever going to break through that.
No matter what.
That's what I feel. You just have like your old-timey like Carolina, Duke, Kentucky.
Take blue blood out of it. Take blue blood out of it.
Yeah.
Can you? Because UConn, whether they're blue blood or not, they are a basketball school when you look at them.
Yeah, for sure.
So Florida Gators, can they be recognized as a basketball school?
They have to be recognized as a basketball school because, again, 3 titles in, basically within a 20-year window. They're right on par with what anybody else has accomplished over that time span. So without a doubt, I think they're there. But again, it's gonna they are a basketball school, but I don't think like that doesn't make them a football school.
Yeah,
they stand in a unique place as an athletic program. Because again, when that came out like the day after the title game, it made you kind of think. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that they're the only one. And then you start kicking around in your head, well, who else could come close?
Yeah.
And there really is, very few teams that have that sort of balance amongst the big programs. There's always something like, Connecticut's virtually exclusively a basketball. I mean, Villanova's got a handful of titles. They're exclusively a basketball. I mean, unless Bill Belichick reinvents himself as a college coach, Carolina's never been a serious football contender for a title. Kentucky, same way. They have a certain level of football. They make bowl games. They usually win more games than they lose, but they're not winning titles.
No.
And you just go down the list, and there's just very few teams that are even in the mix for that in any way. So it is a tremendous credit to the Florida athletic program that they could put this together.
No, that is for sure. It's definitely surprising, especially when you the different eras, because when you win 06, 07, take a while to win again, but just like to win it all, man, it's really. It's impressive, man. It's impressive to win with a totally different group, totally different coach, totally different program, and all of that good stuff. Utilizing the transfer portal now and all of that good stuff. Now, I said this in a post as well. I said it too when we were watching the game. The last time the Florida Gators won in basketball, they followed right up and won in football that following year.
You probably said that within 30 seconds of the final whistle.
Well, it was on my mind. Like a
yeah,
couple of
yeah.
days.
You were sitting on that one.
I was sitting on that one.
was like-
Pause. But yeah, I was definitely sitting on that one. Shout out to Champ, man. He's
ladies and gentlemen, there might not be an actual pause.
Champ here with another pause too. I like the show. Keep it coming. Pause.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
All right, and appreciate the dollars too, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, but yeah. So, what do you say to that? Because
Wait, what do I say to what? the football team winning a title this year?
Yeah, I think we're a year away. But I give us a shot. I give us a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah,
but I do think we're a year away from.
I was going through
Making
the
something
schedule though. Like
it's another tough schedule.
Brutal
It's another brutal schedule.
But
not as brutal as last year, but it's still brutal.
But we also kind of know that you can be a 2-loss team and still get there in this format.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be perfect. You got to be good at the right time.
Good at the right time,
which is what Ohio State was
in the SEC mix.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good enough to get out of the SEC, good enough to run the table. Like that was Ohio State, and I despise them, but they were at their best down the stretch. Like they played their best football those last 3 games.
Yeah.
And that's at the end of the day, you got to realize that's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
And the Gators were very good all year basketball wise, but they beginning with that SEC tournament, I think they kind of like bumped the level.
Yeah.
And they were locked in at a different level to their credit the rest of the way. And that's what you need. So if you're saying can the Gators win a title, potentially. I'm not sold on Billy Napier as being a really good football coach.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's part of the
There's that.
It doesn't. I mean,
There's
maybe they can. I can't rule it out. And when I say that, I'm not being a Florida State guy and a hater of that. I just think Billy Napier is a guy that he needs to show that he's that guy.
He has to prove it. For me, it's just the play calling. I think building a culture he's done. And of course we know about his recruiting. He's a A-level recruiter, and he has built the culture. But his refusal to come off of the play calling is troubling, because it's like that's clearly a weakness for you, and you're not willing to look to outsource that. So yeah, that's to be seen. And yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, but they seem to have lined up some personnel, and they have it. I would just characterize it as a good chance. Sadly, Ohio State's not going anywhere.
No. Ohio State's not. Texas.
They might be better at quarterback next year.
Texas is going to be strong.
Yeah, you still got Jeremiah Smith. You
Georgia.
still got Caleb Downs. I think Georgia's trending downward. I'm not telling you they're going to win 6 games this year, but they don't have an answer at quarterback. They haven't had an answer at receiver, other than tight end Brock Bowers in the last couple years.
Who's a beast, by the way.
He's fantastic, but they haven't had a great receiver in a long, long time, and that's important. And that it's just. I think there's some imbalance there. And then when you talk about culture, they've had 25 guys arrested during a window of time in which they've won 24 football games.
Wow.
So there's something going on that's not good there. And so I'm not here to, Georgia's, I'm going to say this, they're a good bit removed from the team that won back-to-back titles. They've got some catching up to do. They've kind of lost control of their house and their environment, in my estimation.
Now
Texas,
go ahead.
And that's the other team. I like the talent level. I think Sarkisian's a weakness as coach.
That's interesting, because my whole focus, of course, is on Manning.
Yeah.
But that is interesting, because you might be right about that. But I can't sway my focus away. I'm just so interested to see how Manning is going to look back there, because he's supposed to be the next coming, man. He's supposed to be the next number 1 overall draft pick, all of that great stuff.
Well, he gave us the flashes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he definitely flashed.
And again, go back 2 years. 2 years. He's playing in the spring game and played poorly.
Yeah.
And there's video and clips, and it's like, God, is this guy, does he only have stars next to his name because of his name, and all that? And there was no doubt. I mean, he showed himself to be a good passer, a good runner last year. Can he build on that and really be a dominant player?